You are kneeling on the deck, your hands raw from salt and rope, the wind cutting across your face like shards of ice. The horizon is a smear of gray, and the sails shudder under a storm you can feel in your bones. Somewhere below, a rope snaps and the ship lurches. You hold your breath, gripping the railing until your knuckles whiten, and realize that if you let go, everything you are disappears into the dark water. You wake before dawn. The smell of brine fills your nostrils, thick and constant. Every plank of wood beneath your bare feet is cold, and each creak sounds like a warning. You climb the rigging, small fingers pressed against wet rope, muscles trembling but learning. The others call you child, but you're the one who notices the currents, the signs in the clouds, the shift of the wind. Your hands blister against the coarse rope, and yet you climb higher than anyone else. From the crow's nest, you see the endless expanse of the ocean, black and indifferent. The waves rise and fall like slow, steady breaths, and you trace patterns in them with your eyes, imagining control where there is none. By night, the ship smells of tar, sweat, and roasted fish. You huddle in a corner of the hold, listening to the creaking hull, the muffled voices of sailors, and the soft, irregular breathing of your own heart. That is when you understand the first truth. Survival is not about bravery. It is about noticing, anticipating, moving just before the world shifts. You stand at the edge of the quarterdeck, taller now, shoulders firm. The crew no longer laughs at you when you speak, but they test you at every turn. One wrong decision, and a rope could snap, a mast could crack, a life could end. You learn to move deliberately, your body a series of small, precise corrections. The nights are long, damp, and cold. Salt and smoke cling to your hair. You lie awake on the floorboards, listening to the ship settle, feeling it breathe beneath you. Somewhere deep in the hold, a cask shifts, and the sound is louder than cannon fire. You imagine the cask tumbling, spilling its contents, your failure measured in gallons. You learn restraint. You learn timing. You learn silence. The first boarding happens when you are 15. You watch men fall, knives flash, the screams rise and fade. You do not intervene. You observe, memorize, calculate. The aftermath is quiet. The ship smells of burned rope and iron. You clean the deck, rinse blood from the planks, and your hands smell of it long after the wash water runs red. By now, you realize that power is not in triumph, but in endurance, in the small acts that allow you to stand when others crumble. You are given command of a small vessel, a patchwork of wood and sails that creaks at the slightest breeze. The crew is wary, waiting for you to falter, testing every order, every movement. You walk among them, feeling their gaze as a weight against your spine. Every mistake is magnified, every hesitation noted. Storms no longer frighten you. They are instruments. You listen to the wind, the waves, the subtle shift of sails, adjusting. Your body remembers the rhythm of the ship, as if it is an extension of your own limbs. Nights smell of tar and rain, and the taste of brine is permanent on your tongue. You learn patience. You learn to wait until the right moment, to strike quietly, to let chaos arrive elsewhere while you remain steady. You steal from ports and other ships, not out of greed, but necessity. You learn the weight of choices, a captured crew left to die, a cask of food rationed too thinly, a map kept secret. Every action is measured, deliberate. By now, you understand that fear is a tool, but only when it is quiet, subtle, persistent. The sea grows heavier. Every voyage stretches longer. The crew ages and dies in pieces. You carry the memory of each loss in your chest, a weight that bends your shoulders. One morning, a boy slips from the rigging. You catch him, barely. His eyes are wide with terror, his hands slick. The rope burns your palms, your arms scream, but you do not let him fall. The first betrayal comes quietly. A sailor, someone you trusted, passes information to another captain. You discover it not with words, but by noticing small shifts, a glance too long, a cough that falters. You do not strike. You plan. By the time the betrayal manifests, it is too late for him, and yet you are not proud. You feel only the cold understanding that survival demands this calculation. By now, you realize that command is not about courage. It is about presence. You notice the creaks, the smells, the tremors in voices, the rhythm of water on wood. You measure everything against the quiet pulse of the ship, against the horizon that never shifts. Your name carries weight. Ships part for you in the harbors. You move through ports as if a shadow passes through light. Men and women alike watch, some with reverence, others with silent calculation. You sense their intentions in the tilt of a hat, the twitch of an eye, the shift of a hand near a dagger. You have learned the rhythm of fear, the cadence of negotiation, the silent currency of threats. Nights smell of smoke and tar and ink. Letters are burned before they are read. Secrets whispered into empty rooms. Your cabin is stark, everything chosen for efficiency, for clarity. You wake before the sun, tracing maps with worn fingers, listening to the deck creak, counting crew, checking sails. A storm arrives, not violent but relentless. Waves slap the hull with measured patience. You move through the chaos without panic, adjusting rigging, ordering the crew, noting which boards are weak, which ropes frayed. By now, you realize that power is a quiet accumulation of attentiveness. Triumph is not in conquest. It is in the unbroken continuance of the self while the world rages around you. The ship has grown larger, stronger. The crew is loyal, but loyalty is always provisional. You watch, always watch. Every word is weighed, every gesture cataloged. You spend mornings on the deck, the sun low, the salt tang sharp, listening to the lull between waves. Your body aches, a reminder that endurance has limits, but your mind sharpens. You plan, anticipate, survive. A mutiny simmers for weeks before it manifests. You do not scream. You do not fight with a sword. You notice the smallest tremor in a voice, the hesitation of a hand, the avoidance of eyes. You arrange a quiet shift in command assignments. By the time the first knife is drawn, the threat has dissolved, redirected into shadows where you are not touched. By now, you understand that fear is not merely a reaction, it is a lever. It bends men and women toward action you can predict. You carry it not as a weapon, but as a constant, like the smell of brine or the creak of the deck beneath your feet. You move through the world as a memory in motion. Harbors know your footsteps, towns whisper your name. You spend hours on the quarterdeck, staring at the horizon, noting currents, the color of clouds, the behavior of gulls. Time has shifted. You no longer rush. The ship moves with your patience, not the impatience of youth. Your crew is smaller, seasoned. Each man and woman carries scars you cannot erase. You notice when they limp, when they hesitate, when their hands tremble. You adjust your orders, your path, your strategy, so that the vessel moves unhindered despite human frailty. A young sailor falls overboard. You catch his arm, hauling him back with careful precision. Water drips from his hair, his teeth chattering, the cold biting. You hold him against the deck, breathing steady, feeling the pulse of his life against your own. You realize that control is never total. It is the attentive correction of small failures, again and again. The ship is older than most captains. Its hull groans, its sails are patched, its ropes frayed. You know every creak, every weakness, every possibility. You move through storms as if guided by intuition carved from decades of observation. You no longer seek conquest, only continuity. A rival ship shadows you, silent, waiting for weakness. You notice the angle of its sail, the reflection of its hull on the water, the timing of its movements. You alter course quietly, conserve energy, avoid unnecessary conflict. The crew does not understand the precision. Only the disaster does not arrive. By now, you understand that survival is a series of unseen adjustments. Victory is the quiet continuation of existence. You sit alone on the quarterdeck, your fingers tracing the wood grain, worn smooth by time and sweat. The sea stretches endlessly, a quiet expanse of gray and blue. Waves lap at the hull in a rhythm older than memory. Your body aches, your hair has thinned, but the ship moves beneath you, steady. The crew is gone, scattered or dead. You walk the deck alone, noting the subtle creaks, the faint smell of tar, the lingering scent of storms past. You trace the lines of rigging with your fingers, remembering each climb, each fall, each careful correction that allowed you to remain. A gull cries overhead, the wind shifts, the sails snap softly. You close your eyes, feeling the slow, inevitable pulse of the vessel beneath you. The horizon does not change. You do not move. You are the ship, the sea, the silence. By now, you realize that everything has been survival, quiet and meticulous. Power, fear, command. All were instruments to sustain presence. The storm, the deck, the ropes, the salt, they remain. You remain. You exhale. The horizon waits.